Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amber Gatlin. I'm an actor, singer, and visual artist living in New York. And today we're going to talk about rejection and just spend some time painting together. This is a very large painting that I had put in the closet for a little bit because I was so frustrated with her. Well, with myself, really. The face is not in the shot. It will not be in the shot because it's just not where it needs to be, and I don't want to show that part until it is. We're just gonna work on the pants and her clothing today, but I am really excited. It's gonna be a great piece when it's all done. So yeah, if you've been following along on my YouTube channel, you know that I have been going through grad school auditions, and I'm very happy to say that they are all done with now. So my journey with applying to grad school started 3 years ago. I mean, I definitely, even in undergrad, I wanted to, I had it in my mind that I would want to go to grad school because I realized that as good as my undergrad program was, it really just scratched the surface of acting, and I don't want to rest on my laurels and not grow as an actor, and I just got the sense that there was so much more to learn, and I still do believe that. And also I really enjoy a classroom setting, and I was looking forward to that community that comes with that, and that mentorship, and also being able to teach, because I do want to teach acting one day. It just seems like a lot of fun. So back in 2022, I guess it was, I auditioned for the first time. My boyfriend, he recently graduated from a grad school program for acting, so I kind of got to see his journey as well. But yeah, my first time trying was pretty successful. I did 6 schools, and I got a second look at basically all of them. I did NYU, I did USD and UCSD, I did Brown, I did Yale, and I did Juilliard. And I got at least one callback for, just one callback for all of them. And then for Juilliard, I got all the way to the end of day interview, which was so exciting. I mean, it was just the best day ever because I really went in with 0 expectations about how well this was going to go. And I started with Hamlet. I did Hamlet, and I did, what was it? It was a Tennessee Williams. I forget the name of the play now. No, it's not coming to me. Well, anyway, and they wanted to see my Hamlet over and over and over again. Like, that was, I think, the piece that was getting me farther in, which felt, I mean, amazing to be like, really? Like, you like my Hamlet? That's amazing, you know? And then the interview happened, and I got the sense that the interview didn't go as well as it could have, because honestly, I was having a lot of conflicting feelings about Juilliard at the time because my boyfriend was enrolled there, so I got to see kind of the best of it and the worst of it, and that program has been going through a lot of changes recently. And I wrote my essay about something very strange. I wrote it about a disagreement, really a fight that me and my, oh shoot, that's my phone. A fight that my drama teacher and I got into back in high school because my family was super religious and they didn't want me to take the Lord's name in vain on stage. Like, even in the context of the play, they did not want me to do that. And I was in boarding school. I was 16 years old. I was living on their dime, and I just went to my acting teacher and I told him, look, my parents said I can't say this. Can I say it another way? And we were so close at the time, me and this director, that I may have done it kind of off the cuff or like at a time that wasn't very appropriate, but I didn't think it would be a big deal. And oh my gosh, how wrong I was. It was a very big deal. And I don't know why I wrote about that. I think it's just because that moment of going from being the apple of someone's eye, having such a great relationship with a mentor, and then having that completely change. And I was on his bad list for the rest of my time at school there, and it was a really impactful experience to go through that. So I wrote about that, and I don't really know what it says about me. I mean, maybe that I have less of a trust in teachers now, or I'm more willing to stick up for myself now. I don't know, but it was kind of a strange essay. So they asked about that, and we talked about that, and then the day was over. And then I did not get an invite to callback weekend, which I was pretty devastated about, but yeah, it was okay, better luck next year. So the next year rolls around, and I'm thinking to myself, I really don't want to go out to San Diego. I've got my life here. I love the city. I mean, Yale would be worth it, obviously, because they're tuition free. Juilliard is also tuition free, so I just decided to keep it to those two schools. Because also, I think my passion and fire for going to grad school was starting to wane a little bit. So I was like, well, if it's not absolutely one of the best schools out there, like, what is it really going to be worth it to be long distance or to get myself in a bunch of debt? So I decided to just do those two big schools, and I got one second look at Juilliard that second year, and then they cut me after that. And then at Yale, same thing. I got one second look, and then I didn't make it to the end of the day. So yeah, it was definitely still like they wouldn't keep calling me back if they weren't interested. So it definitely still felt possible to be able to get into these schools. And but the third year was more difficult in terms of deciding to go, because yeah, I mean, just going through the whole process, it takes money, it takes letters of recommendation. You got to keep asking the same people, like, hey, I know you wrote this letter for me last year, but I still really want to go, and I didn't get in, so, like, can you help me out again? I mean, it's just, it's a pain. So, but I rallied, and I decided to go through with it. I just did 3 schools this year, which was a good decision. And so for my NYU audition, also the process that I took this year was completely different. I had my boyfriend help me out with my monologues. I didn't go to coachings as much, and I really didn't want to over rehearse, because I felt like in these past 2 years there wasn't as much freedom in the room, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but I had them very like almost choreographed, and I really wanted to stay away from anything that felt too rigid. I just kind of wanted to have a clear idea of what I was doing in the monologue and what my relationship was, but other than that, just kind of let it go. So I didn't work on them as much on purpose. I didn't. And for my NYU audition, that was my first one. And in a lot of ways, NYU was certainly a top pick, just because they are so industry focused, and they are in the city, and you don't have the BFA students with you while you're training, because I know going through a BFA program is like a very different headspace to come from high school, or to be doing a training program for the first time rather than focusing on getting your MFA. It's just a different frame of mind. So I was really looking forward to NYU, and I was playing my jams, in my headphones, and trying to stay loose, trying to stay with it. And I went in, and I gave what felt like the best audition that I've given in a very long time. And as an actor, they say you're not the best judge of your own work, and that's very true, but you can also just feel when you're free and responding and trusting yourself and taking your time. And I was just doing new things that I'd never done before, and it just felt great, because I felt like for the first time in a long time, I was really bringing my whole self into the room, despite any nerves, despite any Okay, motorcycle, thank you, we get it. Anyway, so it just felt like a great audition, and one of the adjudicators, or one of the judges, he gave me a note, which was a little strange, but it just felt like the kind of note that was like, okay, we just want to play around with you, like we just want to see what you can do, you know? So it was kind of silly and kind of, very different, and I thought it went really well. There were some laughs, the vibes seemed good, and to be honest, I'd never been so convinced that I would get a call back in all my life. And then, sure enough, when they were reading the names off the list, mine wasn't on there. And it was a punch in the gut. It really was. I was like, I really thought this year was the year that I had picked the pieces that showcased me best, that were right for me, where I am as an actor, that I could put my best foot forward, and it just didn't happen. And so I went home and I started working on this painting here. This is the day that NYU, didn't give me a second callback. And I came home and I looked at this painting and I was like, you know what? If I can get through that today, I think I can pick this up. I'm not scared of this painting anymore. And so I just spent the whole evening painting away, and it was very nice. And so the rest of the week went by, and before I knew it, my Juilliard audition was the next morning, and I'm lying in bed, and I'm not kidding you, I am suddenly like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to grad school. I don't want to spend the next 4 years shackled to an institution and having to go wherever they tell me to and do these shows, and I just don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to go to New Haven. I don't want to go to Juilliard. Like, I just don't want to anymore. Which was really shocking because this is something that I've wanted for so long, and who's to say if it was the NYU rejection that kind of took the last bit of wind out of my sails, that might be true, but I think it's also the fact that I've poured so much energy into other things this year, like producing. I'm a producer with this, it's a project. It's like a theater collective. It's called the Fortnight Project, and it's my baby, and I can't abandon it right now. I love it too much. I spent a lot of time focusing on music, and there's just so many other things that I want, and I don't want to dedicate 4 years just to acting, because it is hard to do other things. I mean, people do it. During my Juilliard audition this year, I had a conversation with someone who was doodling and was a current student, and I was like, oh, like, do you have a lot of time to do visual art when you're here? And they were like, yeah, I mean, you make time for the things that you want to do, and it's kind of nice to have an escape because, it does take up so much of your time and your energy. But yeah, I'm lying in bed before my Juilliard audition, and I'm like, I can't even move. And it was so incredibly difficult to get up at 6:30 in the morning, shower, get ready, head over to Lincoln Center, and just do the whole thing, because the whole time I'm thinking, like, there's no way this is gonna go well, because I don't even want this anymore. And it was pretty sad. And the audition I gave was pretty lukewarm, I'd say. And then we had to drive to New Haven. And we had great pizza, and I did my best, and I didn't get any second looks, and it was really the death of a dream. But I'm just excited to be able to focus on this art business, because I have put so much energy into this in this past year, and I'm determined to see it through. And I'm not gonna take this as a slight or let it hit my confidence, because I have accomplished so much as an actor. I've joined Equity this year. I have a reading coming up later this week, and I can still audition and do all of the things that I want to do. So yeah, it's all gonna be good. I'll be okay.